For almost 20 years, the Yakuza series has cultivated a dedicated fan base with so much critical acclaim, now spawning TV shows and movies, and of course so many games in the series. These games offer a mix of intense combat, intricate narratives, and so much side stuff that range from like karaoke to managing businesses, and each game delves deep into the lives of its characters. So in today's video, we're going to be ranking some Yakuza games. This is going to be really fun. I am actually a newcomer to this series. I haven't touched the Yakuza game until April this year, so I've spent the last 3 months binging game after game after game after game because I've been that hooked on them. I love these games now. So as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the video and the ranking and maybe what order you'd put these in. I don't know anything about what people think about these games. I know it's a loved series, but I have gone zero spoiler mode. I haven't even looked at the Wikipedia pages yet because I didn't want anything ruined for me. So before we actually rank these, I want to let you know that I'm ranking them in order of how much I enjoyed them. There is no bad Yakuza game in my opinion. Honestly, there really isn't. So anyway, number 12, let's start the list with Yakuza Dead Souls. Dead Souls is a spin-off from the main series set in Kamurocho during a zombie outbreak. The game follows 4 of our well-known heroes, each with their own storyline as they navigate the chaos and attempt to protect the city from the undead. It's got action, it's got humor, it's got the typical series mix of drama, and of course a little bit of quirkiness on the side. It's interesting. It's not going to be the game for everyone, especially because it controls a lot differently than the main series, but you know what? It's fun. Okay, next up in my ranking is the last game that I played, and I saved it for the very last because I wanted to have reference for every single character, and that is Like a Dragon Ishin. Now this one is like a historical game set in the late Edo period of Japan. It follows Ryoma Sakamoto. It's funny because like all these characters have the same faces and voice actors as the main characters throughout the series, but you know, just name swap and you know, a little bit of different hair, of course, to suit the period. Anyway, Ryoma Sakamoto is a samurai seeking to avenge his mentor's murder while navigating political turmoil and joining the Shinsengumi. The game blends historical events with fictional storytelling. It's honestly a really unique twist on the series and a twist on this Edo period of Japan. The combat's a little bit different. You have to get used to it, especially if you're coming right off the back of some other Yakuza games like I did. I didn't really like it at first, but I did eventually get into it. I thought it was really interesting how they played with different character roles. Some characters that were bad in the main series actually turned out to be good guys. Really interesting. Next up at number 10 is going to be Yakuza 3. Yakuza 3, this kind of took me a little bit to get into because I came off of this after playing Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, the remakes of those 2 games. So going straight back into the game that's really hasn't been graphically updated, especially for the remaster. I mean, some textures are sharper and stuff like that. It was a different game, so I found myself not really liking it as much. But anyway, Kiryu, now taking on the life of a caretaker in an orphanage in Okinawa, finds that his life has been disrupted by his past and of course other criminal conflicts. The land where his orphanage stands becomes a target for a shady real estate deal, and it's tied to a larger power struggle involving the Japanese government, the military in the US, and rival Yakuza factions. And Kiryu now tries to protect his orphanage and the children and his care. Again, he's drawn back into the world of violent organized crime. There's a lot of great stuff in this game. To be honest with you, I find that it's probably my most forgettable game. I think it's just because it was in a different setting. Some of the characters didn't latch on to me as much. I still really enjoyed the game, but it just didn't grab me like some of the others did. Okay, moving up here with number 9, we're going to have Yakuza 4. Yakuza 4 introduced 4 new heroes in this game. Of course, we've got Kiryu, then we also have Akiyama, Saejima, and then Tanimura, a police officer. Now, they each have their own storylines that intertwine in the criminal underworld of Kamurocho. The story starts off with Akiyama, a moneylender from Sky Finance with a mysterious past, Saejima, who escapes prison to uncover the truth behind a failed massacre in 1985, followed by Tanimura, a cop seeking justice for his father's murder, and as their paths cross, they uncover some complex conspiracy involving some high-ranking officials and Yakuza, culminating in a thrilling confrontation at the end of the game that tests everybody's loyalty and resolve. It's really fun. I really enjoyed this game. This was the first time in the Yakuza series where we play as other characters. We've seen nothing from Tanimura after this game, so I don't know what actually happened with that, but this was the introduction of Akiyama and Saejima. I love those characters, especially Akiyama's great character. I love him. I want more of him. But this was cool. It was great to play this game from different perspectives and see how they all intertwine. And of course, the best in my opinion is whenever you play as Kiryu. Things get really serious when Kiryu comes into the picture. Okay, number 8, we have Like a Dragon Gaiden. The Man Who Erased His Name. This game I really enjoyed. It was a little bit shorter and it's meant to be a bridge between Like a Dragon and the events of Infinite Wealth. The The man who erased his name follows Kiryu as he goes into hiding after the events of Yakuza 6, not only to protect his loved ones, to protect his identity and leave his past behind. Assuming a new identity, Kiryu is drawn into dangerous conflicts involving a new shadowy underworld organization and a series of threats that force him to confront his past. As he continues to battle to protect those he cares about and maintain his anonymity, Kiryu grapples with his dual identity and the consequences of his former life. It's a really interesting game. Again, it's a shorter, I think I finished it in like 12 to 15 hours game. It was really great. It was really great for what it was. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've played the game in its entirety and reached the ending, oh my gosh, I tell you what, I have just bawled my eyes out when I watched the ending. If you know, you know. Wow, it's probably the most emotional ending in the series. Really, really interesting game. Check it out, honestly, if you haven't. It's great. Coming in at number 7, we have Yakuza 5. Like Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5 follows 5 main characters. Here we have Kiryu, Saejima, Akiyama, and now we're finally able to play as Haruka and a new character, Shinada, a baseball player. It's really interesting. Each character faces personal struggles. Kiryu is a taxi driver now as he's pulled back into the Yakuza life. He's trying to live another life somewhere else. Saejima must deal with clan betrayal. Akiyama continues his unconventional sky finance loan business. And Haruka now is pursuing her dream of becoming an idol, and as a result faces some challenges in the entertainment industry. And Shinada, as I said, a former baseball player, he seeks to uncover the truth behind a game-fixing scandal. He was kicked out of the baseball league after one game. All the stories connect as Yakuza 4 did. They uncover a power struggle among the Tojo clan and a potential all-out war in the Yakuza world. There's themes of ambition, resilience, and the impact of one's past decisions on one's future. This did have a compelling storyline in my opinion. I thought it was super cool. I really didn't like some of the idol dances that you have to do with Haruka. That was kind of like the only down spot on me. Again, it's really interesting to see how this series evolves and how the characters are brought into the fold and just kind of fit together. I really liked Yakuza 5. It was great. Coming in at number 6, we have Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon was actually my first Yakuza game, and I was really interested in it because it was a turn-based game and it was a departure from the Yakuza series, which I didn't know. I haven't played for the last 20 years, so it's all new to me. But Like a Dragon introduces a new protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, a low-ranking member of the Arakawa family who willingly takes a fall for a crime he didn't commit to protect his patriarch. And after spending 18 years in prison, he emerges to find that the world has changed and the Arakawa family has aligned with the rival Omi Alliance, and they now dominate Kamurocho. Feeling betrayed and abandoned, Ichiban embarks on a quest to uncover the truth on what's happening behind Arakawa's actions, and he tries to rebuild his life. And along the way, he forms a ragtag group of allies, including Adachi, Nanba. They try and navigate the criminal underworld and figure out political conspiracies in the new setting of Yokohama, which was new to this game. I think this is a really great entry point for people who haven't played the Yakuza series before. If you don't like kind of a traditional kind of like street brawl or fighting game. Again, this was my first introduction to the series. I thought it was really great, but now in retrospect, after playing every other Yakuza game, there are characters that I much more prefer to a lot of the characters in this game. But I don't mind the turn-based combat. I think it's great. It's a really charming, lovable game, and Ichiban is a really great protagonist. And hey, before we get any further in the list, don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying this kind of content, because almost 90% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed. So I would love to have you here week in and week out as I discuss RPG, JRPG stuff. And if you want more Yakuza content, hey, I'm happy to provide that as well. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here. Okay, now we have finally entered the top 5. I'm interested to know what you guys think of the list so far and where you rank the game. So don't forget to leave a comment and let me know your thoughts as well. I'm interested to know everybody's thoughts on the Yakuza series now that I finally finished it. Anyway, number 5, we have Yakuza 1, or the original Yakuza, or Yakuza 1 Kiwami Edition. The original Yakuza, or Yakuza 1, tells the story of Kiryu Kazuma, a loyal member of the Tojo clan who takes the fall for a crime he didn't commit to protect his friend Nishikiyama and his beloved Yumi. After serving 10 years in prison, Kiryu returns to find that Nishikiyama has changed, and the Tojo clan is in turmoil after a theft of 10 billion yen. As Kiryu searches for Yumi, he becomes embroiled in a power struggle within the Yakuza, while also protecting a young girl named Haruka, who's connected somehow to the missing money and Yumi. This was really great, and in my opinion, it's got a really great narrative that's going to throw you into the deep end straight away. You're going to be interested in these characters. You're going to be interested into the missing 10 billion yen. You're going to be interested interested in the character arcs of Nishikiyama, you know, Kiryu's friend who's turned bad for some reason. You learn all of that as you go. This was one of the reasons why I got so hooked on this series. Amazing. I would actually really like to go back and play the original Yakuza on PS2 just to see how it's going to hold up. Of course, it's not going to be as good as the Kiwami edition, you know, the remastered edition, but I loved it all the same. Okay, number 4, we have Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is really interesting. This is our first dual protagonist turn-based game, as we have Ichiban and Kiryu meeting together in Hawaii to solve a case, try and find Akane, who is Ichiban's mother. Kiryu's already looking for her as well, and she's got a girl with her. I mean, by the way, how many times can we hear Akane-san and Lani? I mean, like, you hear 1,000 times. But this is a game that I played twice this year, actually. I played it in April of this year without context for the rest of the series, and I ended up enjoying Kiryu's character so much that I went back and played the entire series, Yakuza 0 to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Again, yes, I played it twice. I think this game is best appreciated with context for the rest of the series. I know a lot of people will play Like a Dragon and then play this and still not play the rest of the series. That's kind of what I did. But these characters are so compelling. The story was amazing. The combat is a really great improvement from Like a Dragon. I mean, if you thought the turn-based combat was fun and interesting in that game, Infinite Wealth just takes it to a whole other level. And I really loved the Dragon Awakening stuff for Kiryu as well. It's a shame that it's kind of like side content, but I think it's really rewarding, especially for me, because I wanted to save it for last. After playing every single game, I felt that it was just a really rewarding and impactful thing. Having these characters come out of the woodwork to try and find Kiryu, or Kiryu trying to find these characters. I mean, if you know, you know. I'm trying to keep it spoiler light, but I really liked the setting of being able to play in Yokohama, Kamurocho, and Hawaii. It's cool, very ambitious game. I can't wait for the next one. Okay, number 3, we have Yakuza 2. The direct sequel and follow-up to Yakuza 1 follows Kiryu as he is once again drawn back into the world of Yakuza to prevent an all-out war between the Tojo clan and the Omi Alliance, the two largest factions in Japan. Tasked with brokering peace, Kiryu faces numerous challenges, including betrayal and the ambitious rival named Ryuji Goda. I really like this character, he's really cool. And a conspiracy involving the Korean Jingwan Mafia. Along the way, Kiryu encounters Kaoru Sayama, a detective with a personal vendetta against the Jingwan Mafia, and the two form a interesting relationship. This game was really fun. I really liked the Kiwami edition. I haven't played the original, but the story is the same. I loved the toughness that Kiryu exudes in this game, especially fighting with Ryuji. I think they both understand each other really well. They both are on the same wavelength, but of course there's only room for one dragon in Japan. It's really awesome stuff, especially the ending, or I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, if you know, you know. And again, this was just one of those games early on in my Yakuza journey that just continued to blow me away and set me up really high for Yakuza 3 to kind of let me down more or less. Okay, number 2, we have Yakuza 6. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. Kiryu embarks on a journey to uncover the truth behind a tragic accident that has left Haruka in a coma. His investigation leads him to a coastal town of Onomichi in Hiroshima, where he discovers a web of secrets involving the local Yomei Alliance, a mysterious shipyard, and a powerful family secret, and of course, the new character in the series, Haruto, Haruka's son. This was really cool because Kiryu gets to play grandpa. We're walking around Hiroshima carrying a baby. Kiryu gives the baby to other characters to mind while he's taking care of business. It's really cool. I think Yakuza 6 does what Yakuza 3 couldn't do. It has this coastal town family vibe to it with, of course, other stuff, criminal underworld stuff happening. And of course, Kiryu delves deeper into the conspiracies. He's got to navigate conflicts between rival Yakuza factions. This was really interesting because I think, of course, I've played all of the series now and I've played everything. But this would have been a game that if you finished, you would have thought Kiryu's story is 100% done. And of course, the next game that came after that was Like a Dragon with a new protagonist. So you assume that Kiryu's story arc is more or less finished. But, there's themes of family sacrifice, the legacy that you leave behind, and it just had a heartfelt conclusion to Kiryu's saga. And it's kind of left the door open for Kiryu, obviously, to return, but, to maybe give the spotlight to other characters, which I'm not okay with. I'm so attached to Kiryu and his journey, and this game was amazing. Totally left me in tears. I got really attached to all the characters in Onomichi and in Hiroshima. The secret was a little bit underwhelming once you finally get to it, but yeah, it's just I think it was because it was kind of real, you know, of course they want to keep this secret, and maybe it has a little bit more significance on Japan, so maybe I don't quite understand it as well as maybe somebody who's in Japan playing the game. But yeah, Yakuza 6, I really love this game, love the characters, it's just amazing story. I really loved it. And coming in at number 1, my favorite Yakuza game out of the entire series is Yakuza 0. Wow, total thriller. Yakuza 0 is like the prequel to everything and is set in 1988, focusing on the origin story of Kiryu and the beloved character Majima Goro. Kiryu is now a low-ranking member of the Dojima family and is framed for murder after a debt collection job goes wrong, thrusting him into a power struggle over a coveted piece of real estate known as the Empty Lot. Meanwhile, Majima, the manager of a cabaret club in Osaka, seeks to rejoin the Yakuza by taking on an assassination mission. Both of their stories intertwine. The one thing that just let me down was that they never teamed up. They just never got together. But it was just interesting nonetheless. And both these characters confront their morals and ambitions, navigating a world of betrayal, ambition, and the complex politics of the criminal underworld. This really explored the harsh realities of the Yakuza life. This game is brutal. Some characters are introduced and they're gone before you know it. I really enjoyed this one. And it goes to show, like, you know, maybe a real estate struggle over an empty lot in some Tokyo town may not be interesting, but my gosh, I was totally glued to my Steam Deck playing this game. I mean, of course we find out that the empty lot ends up becoming like the Millennium Tower later on in the series, but Kiryu joining Tachibana Real Estate and then Majima trying to like get a grip with himself and actually take care of the person he's trying to assassinate was amazing. And how she's tied to the empty lot, a total mind blower game. I was again glued to my Steam Deck the entire time, and this was the game that made me realize, like, wow, Yakuza is awesome. And honestly, if you haven't played any of these games, Yakuza 0 is going to be the one to start with because it's the prequel to everything. No, you don't really have to worry about context for the rest of the series. 10 minutes into this game, you're going to be glued to it. I loved Yakuza 0. Amazing game. So there you have it. That's my Yakuza ranking list, and I'm sticking to it, but I would love to know your thoughts, so don't forget to drop a comment down below. Subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed the content today, and let me know if you want to see some more Yakuza content as well. I'm currently playing through Judgment and loving that as well. Of course, I'm going to move on to Lost Judgment and try and find some fan translations of some of the PSP games out there as well. I'm really loving this series. I'm all about it, and I can't wait for the next one in the Yakuza TV show. I just want to get into all of it. I'm so into the world of Kamurocho and the Yakuza. It's an amazing storytelling experience, and I highly recommend it if you haven't played or watched anything. It's awesome. So thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to see you again in the next video. Ta-da.